war war is what we have to wage within the Republican Party. I'm not just waging war against liberalism or liberals, Democrats, progressives. That 15%, which is the rhinos, unfortunately, they control the majority of the wealth in the party. They're calling most of the shots within the party. Okay? And there's something called the Precinct Project that the rest of us are using in order to try and gain control of the party. Okay? And that's a local level thing, meaning on the local level, you gain control of the party by filling those local seats so that you can determine who you're going to back, who you're going to support, and determine the agenda for the party. Currently, on the local, most or many local levels within the Republican Party, it's the rhinos calling the shots, handling the money, okay? And they typically tell us conservatives to hold our nose and vote for who they put up there. Because we make it evident, we make it clear that we don't support most times who they put up, because they usually put up a moderate, a country club Republican, a Rockefeller Republican, a New Age Republican. They're all rhinos, Republican in the name only. And the primary reason that they're rhinos is because they are not social conservatives. What I mean by that, you hear they talk about fiscal conservatism and social conservatism. Obviously, fiscal conservatism means that we don't just spend randomly and haphazardly, okay? Mm-hmm. You have to spend in a very conservative manner. You don't waste money. You don't spend on frivolous projects, okay? Mm-hmm. And pet projects, which is wasting the taxpayers' money. I get that. But they reject social conservatism, because social conservatism is saying we have to be a party of morals and values, in particular Judeo-Christian values, okay? Right. Now, they reject that. Pause. When they reject that, they reject the fact that this whole thing was established as a Judeo-Christian society based on Judeo-Christian principles, okay? Now, and that's evident when you read the writings of the founding fathers and the documents and so on and so forth. You can't go to any other country on the planet Earth and find so many Christian houses of worship. Now, here's the thing. These country club Republicans, these rhinos, these moderates, they just want to be liked, okay? So the most expeditious way for them to be liked is to not rock the liberal boat, okay? Okay. Now, I'm telling you that these are Republicans that are concerned with not rocking the liberal boat, okay? So as a Republican, you're more concerned with offending a liberal than a Republican, a conservative, your own party, okay? That tells me that you've been compromised. You follow me? Right. Now, if the 15% that I'm talking about within the Republican Party, and I call them basically devils, these rhinos, I tell them that, why don't you go and join the Democrat Party, okay? Because they fundamentally reject social conservatism, morals, values. You understand? So why do you continue to reside over here? Okay? Now, these rhino Republicans, and I'm not going to keep going over the names, but I want people to be familiar with the different names that we call them. Once again, rhinos, country club Republicans, moderates, Rockefeller Republicans, New Age Republicans. They also say this, Mike. You know, abortion became legal through Roe v. Wade, right? Right. And since then, we've slaughtered millions of babies. okay,
Right.
which are innocent and defenseless.
Right.
God has a problem with that.
Right.
Somebody has to be held accountable for that.
Right.
Okay. Now, these rhino Republicans get mad at us conservative Republicans who are not just fiscal but also social conservatives. Because we say the abortion matter isn't settled, meaning that we believe that eventually, God willing, God bless, we'll have a Supreme Court that will overturn Roe v. Wade and thereby save the innocent and defenseless lives of these babies.
Right.
Okay? In no way, shape, or form can that be a wrong thing to save those amongst us that don't have the ability to defend themselves. Would you agree?
Agree.
Okay. These rhino Republicans will also do this here, and they are actively doing this. They in an effort to broaden the tent, mean pull more people into the party because they want power, because the most important thing to them politically is winning. Okay?
Right.
I want to win. You want to win. Everybody wants to win.
Exactly.
But you don't win at all costs if you're compromising your values.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So they say, and they have been embracing not just abortion, because when you say the matter is settled, you're saying that you choose to no longer fight for these innocent babies that can't defend themselves. Then they have begun to embrace homosexuality. Okay? So the last time I checked, the people that were pro-abortion, pro-homosexual marriage, etc., were Democrats. So my question once again is, why do you continue to reside in this party, functioning, believing like a Democrat? Why don't you vacate the Republican Party and go over there where you belong? Because what's happening here, and this is serious, if you continue to take on the, for lack of a better term, attributes of the other party, eventually you become one party. There's nothing to distinguish the two parties. Okay?
Right.
Now, they'll say, well, we're fiscally conservative. And then they'll say, but the Democrats aren't fiscally conservative. This is what they'll say. Okay? Let me tell you what I found. These Republicans claiming to be fiscally conservative, that's not true. Because when it comes to voting time, these same rhinos that are saying that they are distinguished from the Democrats because they are at the very least fiscally conservative, they're lying. Because when it comes voting time, they vote in a non-conservative manner as it relates to fiscal matters. So they're functioning like Democrats all across the board. The only thing that distinguishes them from Democrats, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Let me set this back up. The only thing that distinguishes rhino Republicans from Democrats is that one letter in the alphabet, the fact that they got a freaking R next to their name, which stands for Republican. If that's the only thing that distinguishes you from a Democrat, you're a Democrat. Okay? And let me say this. The reason why I'm waging war against them is because they're trespassing. They're trespassing in our political party. They're posers. They're frauds. They're charlatans. And if we dig deep enough, what we'll see is that these people, these rhino Republicans, are globalists. Okay? They have no business in our party. And let me tell you whose party they're trespassing in. Our party, but you see that? That's a portrait of Frederick Douglass. He's the reason for the party. Literally, he's the reason for the party. Because he urged the gentlemen that were abolitionists fighting against slavery to form and organize a political party in order to stop slavery, and that political party ended up being the Republican Party, which was founded in 1854 to stop slavery, and Abraham Lincoln was his first president, and that's when they stopped slavery, by using political action. Okay, they call them PACs nowadays, Political Action Committee, PACs. Okay, so Douglas is not just responsible for the Republican Party; he's responsible, arguably, for the first PAC, because technically that Republican Party was the first Political Action Committee, the first PAC, was turned into the party in order to stop slavery, and that is in their founding documents. That the purpose was to stop slavery.
Right.
Now, we're going to talk a little more about these Rhino Republicans because they're messing things up. And you are certainly allowed to believe how you want to believe, function how you want to function, but you are not allowed to function that way and to believe that way within the confines of our party. I take that personally. The Republican Party is my political home. I'm not going to abandon my political house because people are putting out lies saying that the house is no good, saying that the house is racist. That's a lie. Okay? And just because this 15% of posers called rhinos occupy the house, pretty much dictating a lot of what happens in the house, well, damn it, I'm not going to vacate the house. I'm going to put them out. The problem is people that call themselves real Republicans, people that call themselves conservative Republicans, don't have the will to fight the way I want to fight. I've been told, you can't say this, you can't say that. That's too aggressive. I'm a radical Republican. You understand? From the line of Douglas. I ain't got time for this mealy mouth crap. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, I'm talking in an aggressive tone. You want to know why? Because this is real to me. This is serious. This is something worth standing for. Back to these rhinos, man. Let me tell you another reason why I have a problem with these rhinos. I already listed. They just want to be liked. They say abortion is settled. They embrace homosexuality and homosexuals. They're also scared. They're scared of the race card. When Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, or any black Democrat, liberal, progressive leftist says racism and points the finger at them, they don't say nothing. Because they are so petrified of being identified as a racist, they don't say nothing. They shut down. Well, if me and you and two other guys are fighting in the American military, and we're on the field of battle, and the enemy is engaging us, but these two suckers done clammed up, won't fire their gun, ducking down. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. They either got to start fighting immediately or we got to take them out.
Exactly.
Because I can't be worrying about them.
Right.
Okay?
They might shoot you.
They just might. They might try to broker a deal with the enemy. Okay? These, and that's funny, Mike, because you said they might shoot you, which led me to say they might try to broker a deal with the enemy. But this is how real this is. The rhinos are currently and have been brokering deals with the enemy, the Democrats, the liberals, the progressives. And that's dangerous for a lot of reasons. They call it reaching across the aisle in politics. Republicans sitting over here on the right, Democrats sitting over here on the left, and they say this is such a glorious thing when a Republican can reach across the aisle and work with the Democrat. Let me tell you why that's fundamentally wrong. I can't reach across no aisle and work with a baby murderer. I can't reach across no aisle and work with somebody who's against school choice, which is absolute, unequivocal racism towards urban inner city black kids. I can't reach across the aisle and work with somebody who's pro-homosexual marriage when God designed marriage to be between a man and a woman. Okay? And I can go down a long list of reasons that are fundamental that I can't reach across the aisle. Now, if that joker want to reach across the aisle to work with me. He's not asking for nothing. It's just that he has had a change of heart and he's seen the light and he says, I want to support you on this issue because it's right. That's fine. I feel no obligation to reach across the aisle. I'm not going to reach across the aisle to work with the devil. You understand what I'm saying? These rhinos. See, the rhinos jeopardize the party so many ways, reaching across the aisle. I'll give you a classic example. Some of you people will know. Mitt Romney is a rhino. John McCain was a rhino. I go down on a list of rhinos, and they're dangerous because they capitulate. They turncoat. Listen, the rhinos are also scared, not just to the race card and being called racist. If the left calls them homophobes, xenophobes, or misogynists, they don't fight back. They just accept being labeled something derogatory. Now, if somebody says, Mike, you're a whatever, and you know that you're not that, you're just going to sit back and not defend yourself? Yes or no?
Oh, I'm going to defend myself.
Okay. So I think you would have a problem with a man that's not willing to defend himself. That says a lot when you don't defend yourself. And then, you know, when you look at these rhino Republicans, this is a point that I've been making for a long time. And Mike, I want to make this point because people, please pay attention. When I make this point publicly in front of groups of Republicans, and you know, you got everybody in there. You got the Tea Party, which I'm a part of that too, and I'm a Frederick Douglass Republican. You got the Republicans, just straight Republicans. You got the conservative Republicans, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And throw in a couple libertarians. They're in the room.
Right.
And I've been in a lot of rooms with these people. These rhino Republicans have a serious problem when I say that, and I think this is self-explanatory. I say, listen, fiscal conservatism is good, but fiscal conservatism will collapse if it doesn't have the shoulders of social conservatism to stand on. I don't care how prosperous you are fiscally. If as a nation we're morally bankrupt, morally corrupt, we're going to collapse. You can have all the money in the world. But if you ain't taking care of business, you're going to collapse. You understand? Yeah. And taking care of business is we've got to have a standard, a moral code, a code of ethics, work ethic. And when I say have a standard, the standard has to say we can't just kill these babies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if we're going to ignore this moral standard, we're going to collapse. Now, ain't nobody perfect. But we have to draw the line somewhere. And it shouldn't be a stretch to draw the line at defending marriage as being between a man and a woman. And it shouldn't be a stretch to draw the line at protecting an innocent, defenseless baby. Am I right?
You're right.
So, but we're so depraved that in 2022, we can't even do that. And if Republicans, conservatives, if I'm at a meeting and I bring this up and there's not a liberal within 100 miles, they still get uncomfortable. Mike, I've been in these meetings and I bring this up. There's not a liberal within 100 miles. They look over their shoulders. They're still uncomfortable. Stokely Carmichael once said, and not that I'm a fan of him, but during the civil rights movement, he was a radical. He wanted to fight. And one of the things he always would say is all the scared niggas are dead. So they're saying All of us left here, we ready to fight. Okay?
Right.
That's the mentality that I want the Republican Party to have, conservatives to have. If you're within the confines of your own building, in your meeting, and you can't speak freely and openly, you don't stand a damn chance out here in the political world. We got to first get to the place where we can speak comfortably and freely amongst ourselves. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Listen, man. Unfortunately, a lot of people, you have libertarians caucus with Republicans. Some so-called independents caucus with Republicans, mean they vote with us. They come and align themselves with us, okay? This is why I have a problem with that. Libertarians are nothing more than glorified liberals, okay? Because they don't want nothing to do with social conservatism. They just want to say, we're fiscally conservative. And they're lying. Then you got independents. They say, well, we're not with either party. Okay? But right now, we're going to roll with you Republicans. Okay?
Right.
And you want the support and the backing of the Republicans this election cycle. But who knows where you're going to be next election cycle, you carpetbagger. Okay? And that's why I got a problem with these so-called independents. And I really think they're spineless cowards who are afraid to be held down in one place or the other. Okay? Because they're afraid to stand for something. And here's what I've noticed about these so-called independents. Go check their voting record. In the barbershops, in the beauty salons, in the hood, you hear all these brothers, it's the new thing. I'm an independent. They say they're an independent. Let me tell you why they say they're an independent. Because people like myself have pointed out, identified all that's wrong with the Democrat Party. So they feel ashamed to say out loud, I'm a Democrat. And they sure as hell ain't gonna say they're a Republican because they'll be called a sellout in the community. So they say, I'm an independent. That's their safe space. You're a punk. You weak. And I'm going to prove that you're a punk and that you're weak and that you're lying because if you check their record, I don't give a damn what you tell me. You can tell me you're an independent all day long. But if we go downtown and look up how you voted, Democrat, 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 that election, Democrat, that election, Democrat. Well, damn. I thought you said you was an independent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Right.
You full of shit.
Right.